Hey everyone, I just decided to start the how-to on the Kama. We're just going to go over the supplies, where to get them, and all that fun stuff to start out with. First thing you're going to need is a piece of steel. I know this is probably the hardest thing to find. Home Depot or Lowe's usually sells some plate steel. If you can find it, 3/16 is the thickest I'd go. If you can find 1/8 inch, that's probably the best. But you're going to need it to be, let me see here. I would say a piece of steel, I'll write it up here. At least 3.5 by 6 inches. Like I said, about an 1/8 inch thick. That's the piece of steel you're going to need. Like I said, that's probably the hardest thing that's going to be able to find if you can't get your hands on steel easily. Any thickness will work. I choose between 1/8 inch. I usually want to stay around there. Next is a 1 inch oak pole. You can get that at Home Depot or Lowe's. There's mine right here. I like to go with oak because it's a hardwood. That and it stains really nicely. The 1 inch outside diameter tube. You can get this at Tractor Supply. In their steel section. I have some right here that I've already cut down. This is going to be the collar that goes on the top of the Kama. So it's it's a 1 inch outside diameter, so it's the same size as the oak pole. I'll explain how to fit that on in the later videos, but one of these, I usually cut this about 3/8 of an inch thick. So you're going to need that. You're going to need a saw. I use, where is it? Just any kind of saw will do. Preferably a hand saw, makes it easier. A grinder. I have this grinder, and I have this sander. I also have the grinding attachments that I can put on my 90 grinder, which is also my cutting tool. I know you guys have seen this in my other videos. If you don't have a grinder, if you have this cutting tool, you can buy these flat pads, and these work better than the hard grinders. I think at Harbor Freight you can buy packs of 3 of these for like $5, and these things are worth their weight in gold. I love them. So this is what I use to cut out the actual shape, and then actually shape the edge and everything else. So you're going to need one of those, or something equal to it. An 1/8 inch drill, which I got that on my cordless drill. 1/8 inch dowel pins, you can find these at Lowe's and Home Depot. They're just solid steel pins. Get them about an inch long. If you can get them an inch and a quarter, that's better, because then you can just grind off whatever you don't need. If you can find some 1/8 inch steel rod, that should work too. Some epoxy. This is not totally necessary. I just use this to, once I set the blade inside of the wooden pole, I use epoxy just to set it. So when I go and drill it afterwards, I know nothing's going to shake around and move. Everything's going to stay in place. This is not really used as a method of holding the blade in the pole. It's just a temporary hold until I can pin it, because the pins is what really holds it in there. And then some type of heat source if you want to harden your blade. Once again, this is not a totally necessary thing, but if you want to go that route, you can. I probably won't do it in my video, so yeah. But it's a pretty easy process. A lot easier than people think. The hardest thing is just cutting out the steel comma shape and getting that edge in. Everything else, the pole, mounting it to the pole, everything else is really easy. A lot easier than people think. So this is part 1. Like I said, it'll probably be a 3 or 4 part video depending on how much of each process I can fit in. So we'll see. Maybe I'll kind of pre-cut some stuff so I can fit it all in. So this will be the comma video. I'm going to try and make it to the specifications in the Ninpaiden. That's how you pronounce it, whatever. If you don't know what that is, it's a book that I guess Hattori Hanzo wrote. I know Anthony Cummings, he did a translation of it, yada yada yada. So that's where I'm getting the dimensions from, is in there. So hopefully I'll have this one started up in the next couple days, step 2 and step 3, and then that'll be all finished up. And then in the meantime, I'm gonna, like I said, I gotta find a sword to put that leather Tsuba on. I'm looking online, trying to find a decent sword to put it on. I don't want to put it on something cruddy. So if you guys have built anything else in the past, and you've gotten the tools from anything else in the past that I've done videos on, you should have no problem doing this. Like I said, the only thing you might have an issue with is finding the steel. If you have a KBC tool or any kind of machinery place like that by you, check them out. I know you can get some tool steel this size. It might be a little pricey, but it's going to be tool steel, and it's going to be great steel, and it's going to take an edge beautifully. And you can get it in all different sizes. If I can find some of that, maybe I'll use that in my video. If not, I got some plate steel that I use. So that's about it for this. Like I said, I'll try and get the other ones out as soon as I can. Alright.